No one likes losing, I get it. But one of these days, you're going to get what's coming to you and eat a slice of humble pie. You're going to lose so miserably you'll want to uninstall after your third game on Moe and Krill. Don't be dumb. Papa's here to show you that not everything has to be painful. In this video, I'm going to show you the basics on how to properly make a comeback. I'll show you some VODs of mine to help you win yourself out of a sticky situation. On top of strategizing and building on my macro guide, I'll help you come up with a game plan that you can stick to consistently. Plus, these are my first ranked games to give you a better understanding of where you should be at. Ultimately, the idea here is that you're able to build up enough intuition to direct yourself into a winning game. But obviously, these things don't happen out of thin air. You have to pull yourself out and definitely communicate with your team in order to achieve more consistent victories. So, let's get into it. I hope you enjoy. My first ranked game was a bit uneventful, to say the least. But the most important thing I have to say is, even if you lose early game, it's not the end of the world. You can always come back. The main thing that I like to talk about is the mid-game transitioning into the late game, and that's the most important part, not the early game. The early game is only important if you lose a lot of structures, and things get really spicy as soon as we start skirmishing and getting into team fights, and that's when we start falling behind in this game. Ultimately, I just want to point out that the most important things that you need to keep up with whenever you're behind is soaking lanes, planning for picks, and defending objectives. I make a handful of mistakes in this game because of poor positioning at times, and like I said, every fight where the lash comes out ahead is where we fall behind. If I die, it's usually my own fault, and I'm not very used to playing lady guys, so positioning is already a necessity on a relatively slow character. In this fight, lash makes everything chaotic as I'm trying to reposition while everyone is all over the place. I was legit confused because there are a million things happening at the same time. Some notes I took when revisiting this VOD: positioning is important. I should have gone for my zipline side, but I took the side of the lane since it was quicker. That was a mistake. Another thing is knowing when to take fights. On occasion, we actually all-in on some fights when we knew lash ult was down, so once lash wasn't an issue, things just fell into place, and everything got a lot easier. We were behind for a decent portion this game, but what ended up allowing us to come back was playing to our team's strengths. Quick, bursty, and fast skirmishes that gave us picks, and likewise a whole lot of space to work with. I was able to soak and farm quite a bit once we got eliminations at good times. After playing a lot of ranked, I honestly think Kelvin is underrated. He provides a get out of jail free card with his ult, helps with map control, and has insanely fast rotations with good CC from his slows. And his bomb heal is valuable too. I think I'm going to start playing Kelvin again even after they nerfed him 5 million times. Overall, this game was dicey at times, given some bad engagements and a handful of mistakes for myself, but we pulled through when it came to objectives. Their 7 got huge, but it doesn't mean much if your team and base dies with you. Solid first game of the ranked season. So what did we learn from game 1? Soak as much as you can when you get picks to catch up, make sure your positioning is fine before any fight, play to your team's strengths, and Kelvin is still busted. Spoiler warning, we lost this Ivy game very hard. I want to give you a bit of advice whenever you end up losing a game. Don't blame yourself, and don't blame your team. Just keep looking forward to the next game and get better from your mistakes. Now that that's out of the way, let this game showcase why winning lane early doesn't mean much. We get 2 very early kills, which is great, but we end up squandering our lead by making some poor micro decisions. My Geist ends up taking unfavorable trades and ends up feeding over and over again. I go from being aggressive to passive, unfortunately, since my lane gets ahead. Oh, he's done.
Are these guys somehow richer?
Whenever your enemy laners get ahead, there's no reason to take engagements in the open unless you're certain you can get a good trade. Otherwise, you're very prone to dying a lot. Also, I wanted to make an Ivy guide because she's kind of fun and underrated, but I figured it would be too boring, so here's a consolation prize. After going over this VOD, I can see that my team was devastated, and I wanted to showcase what not to do when it came to macroing at Deadlock. We rarely coordinated picks, didn't play safe when we were behind, not properly defending objectives for soak, and overall low morale. It felt like no one on my team wanted to win at this point, and they kept blaming the enemy team for their own mistakes. Honestly, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I tried to constantly rotate, but our lanes kept dying under tower, Another issue is not using numbers to our advantage when the enemy team kept jungling and pushing. No one wanted to take the initiative and engage a fight, we just played chicken until we finally lost. A team that doesn't fight back basically has no hope of winning a game. So, some key takeaways from this game are: go for picks and exploit the enemy's weaknesses, split when you're behind to keep map pressure while farming, defend objectives like urn and towers, never play too aggressive when you're behind unless you know you can overextend, and play for fights. You need to gamble if you've lost anyway. There's not much else to say about game 2 except everyone has bad games. Relax, buddy. Make sure to keep your shirt on. For this game, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but we're going to follow along with what I do, despite the mistakes that happen. We're going to practice learning from our mistakes and try to incorporate what we've learned to help achieve our goals. Go easy on me. I don't play Geist.
Okay, thank you.
To say. I mean, just take reasonable trades. Like, you can play far. You're not gonna get punished.
Pain is the price of victory. There is power in pain.
Waited. That was one of the worst trade deals ever, but at least we lived.
I don't go selling these to just anyone.
Playing more forward.
You won't walk with
That's so much damage. No, I shouldn't have played up. I hit myself for 100, so I could have lived, but honestly, I put myself in a terrible position there, and this goes back to just needing to position a bit better. I just let Wraith just freely kill me. I was in range of her teleport. She could just throw a bunch of free cards at me, and that's a lot of burst damage. I think I should just played a bit safer there, knowing Wraith was just going to walk up to me and just absolutely obliterate me. That was dumb on my part. Not good ult though, but play a lot more careful.
Hey, you're making history.
Back up, Kelvin. Just a second.
Looking back at this, that was honestly very stupid, considering Wraith is ahead. I don't have ult. She's now like almost 2k souls above me. I should have never just contested Wraith. It's very hard to contest Wraith when she's ahead. She's very good at solo killing early, and even later needed to play much safer and more back, considering all she has to do is just press one button.
Today, Oathkeeper receives his penalty.
So, taking into account my overall positioning and posturing has completely changed after dying a couple times to Wraith. I pretty much just forfeit the fact that, you know, of having any possibility of killing Wraith without really good trades, and I try not to feed her too much, or at least put myself in a worse position than I had before. Try to stop the bleeding, just make sure I go for soaks and some denies here and there, and if she overextends, I go for decent burst trades. And here we have a nice gank coming in.
You will suffer.
Even though we don't kill Wraith, it provides a lot of space for me, since she's pretty much encroaching on our territory and trying to take our tower, which she eventually does anyways, but really just giving some space is super nice for my farm. It helps me catch up. The 2 kills she has over me doesn't really matter as much.
I have the Whisper Imp on my side, and Flash appeared on yellow for a second, so be careful.
She will probably kill me. Yeah, well, her ult's super My suggestion is just don't get into that mindset. Oh man, I lost a game.
I'm running her.
That's how League is, you know? It's like, I understand that mindset with League, because it's like,
Flash appeared green.
it feels really hard to come back. But in a game like this, where you get farm from multiple sources, it's like, doable.
Let me know if I have to TP to secure Urn.
They're on top of me.
Here my team constantly pressures the enemy with Urn objective, and they're also pushing up blue as well. And while the team is busy with Wraith on their side, on a blue lane that is, we end up pushing it, we end up collecting Urn, and we win big, despite losing the lane, being a little bit behind. Our team is doing well at this point. Here's a cycle that you should be following whenever you're basically doing nothing and you have downtime. You should always keep going for these quick jungle camps, quick crates to collect souls and extra stats, and you're going to see that we're just going to go back to purple lane and continue to farm it. There's really no other point. We're not going to force guardians or walkers, so this is not only safe, but it's also very efficient just to soak, take creep, or take jungles, camps, and just slowly build up a lead.
That for a bit.
The end begins.
Her spirit, cooldown, duration extender does not.
Good job.
It's spots on green.
Okay, I'm coming.
They don't need my help. This is wasting my time. Here's some basic macro coming into play. I know that 2 people are dead, and I know where the rest of the 4 are on the map. They're either farming, pushing lanes back from green and yellow, and overall they're not going to be fast enough to rotate even if they do come to blue and gank me from taking this guardian. So pretty free. I get some soak, we pressure Urn at the same time. Really, that's what picks do. They give you a lot of space, so they give you a lot of space and they win you games.
The Urn is ours.
Sir?
Let's come in that fight. Not Orban is there.
The Baxter Society has your number.
Making bad macro decisions.
I see Krill!
Your death is inevitable.
Wanna take mid? Let's push, let's push. We're all here.
I see Krill.
I need help defending both these towers.
Combustion's on cooldown.
Is descending.
Someone parry, someone parry. Lawless execution.
At this point, we have a pretty decent lead. We've taken Rejuve, we've taken several Urns, and we have a pretty good map pressure overall. But this is what I want to say whenever you're behind. This is also what I want to say whenever you're early game is bad, it just doesn't really matter that much. If your early game is bad, all you have to do is just have a positive mindset and play with the team.
There's 3 ults on me in green.
It's fine. They should be busy fighting.
Try to save it.
Pockets missing. Your time was.
Let's take this walking.
This is just a taste of what's coming. When I find.
Oh, open it.
Your strength is sapphire flame. Kill. No one will more.
Yep. Viscous splatter killed me. That was extremely stupid. I also had Divine Barrier, or whatever it's called, so I probably should have lived. Overall, very dumb in my positioning. Dumb on my part that I didn't take in Viscous's splatter into account. Oh well.
From here, only misery will fall. You will suffer. Misery comes from. Find the sapphire. Your time was without points.
Overall, the game is pretty much set in stone at this point. We secured objectives, constantly pressured the map, and kept up in net worth. We came back from a rough laning phase to winning the game. And quite honestly, we didn't have that much of an impact on the game as a whole, but it's more of a team effort than a single person carrying. Good game. In conclusion, comebacks are always possible. Not guaranteed, but possible. They just need a bit of legwork and some good luck. I hope you've learned enough from this video that it gives you a good idea that not all games are lost. Never drag your team down with you, and understand that Deadlock is a team game, not a 1v1 mid. Put a focus on stopping snowballs, and make sure you keep maintaining a relevant net worth in order to gracefully come back. In the end, losses do happen from time to time, but it's not the end of the world. It's how you pick yourself back up from bad situations that defines your skill. That's all I have for today. If you want to see more guides, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next. Do me a favor and pick yourself back up. And as always, see you around.